Violet here doesn't have a lot of respect for people's personal space. Now I just went through the escalating consequences, showing the guardians how they can teach her how to have a little bit of personal space, and they should use her when she's coming and doing this. If I invite her to play, that's different. In this video, we're going to go over how you can teach your dog to stay away from the door and stay behind an invisible line several feet away from the door. Now we have one of the roommates who's going to knock on the door here in about 30 seconds. When we do that, I'm going to take the camera, and I've already demonstrated this. I'm going to have the guardian actually answering the door. Now we're going to use the four escalated consequences to do this. Now when you're doing this, it's helpful if we call and arrange for the other person to come by so we know exactly what's going to happen. It doesn't catch us off guard. When it catches us off guard, we're really rushing around. So when we answer the door, we're going to be very casual about it, like there's nothing big, no big deal. If we're really rushing, the dog's like, oh, look how fast he's moving, something's amiss. When we answer the door, we're going to break it down in individual steps. So first he's going to move the dog past the line. There's a line from the table. Basically, there are two lines that are about 10 feet away from the door that we're going to make the dog go to first. Then we're going to walk backwards to the door, keeping our hips pointed at the dog. Then we're going to break down all the individual steps of answering the door together. First thing, we're going to jiggle the deadbolt several times. He's going to be knocking and ringing, making it as hard as possible. Then once the dog stays behind the line for the deadbolt, then we're going to do it for the actual handle. Then we're going to open it an inch. Then we're opening it all the way. The dog is not allowed to cross that threshold. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take over, and I'm going to guide the guardian through this. All right, so now before you, turn. Now you're like a soccer goalie, so you can't let her pass you. So get behind her, and just use your torso. Yeah, don't use your hand. And walk her back. Either the line is, she can't cross this line or this line. There you go. And you're like a soccer goalie. You're not going to let her go either one. Now you're kind of being a little nonchalant, so just take one step at a time. Boom. There we go. So and when she's stationary, you're going to take one step backwards. And wait for her to be stationary, and take one step backwards. And repeat. Just after 1 second pause, we keep on repeating. Go ahead. And he's going to ring it here in a sec, so be ready for her to just hiss first, and if she crosses the line, rush towards her until she gets across the line. Let's get another ring. Rush. There, stop. Now you looked very assertive, but your movement was not very fast. You want to be a little bit quicker. Now she's left the room, so you can take several steps back. Now stop right there and turn to face her. Keep your hips pointed no matter where she goes. There we go. She sees respecting the line. Take a step backwards. As soon as she's stationary, that's when you would take a step back. Wait for her to be stationary again. All right, step back. Now reach for the deadbolt and just jiggle it a couple times. You see that little lurch from her, she's ready to come forward. All right, so now we've done that one. Now we're going to do the handle. All right, now we're going to open it just a crack. All right, now go ahead and open it all the way but behind you. So step in front of it. And you have a nice lady with her dog doing some business on your lawn. And she's cleaning it up. Look good for her. All right, so now she hasn't crossed the line. So the line is where that last glass is there. So she can go anywhere she wants in here. We don't care as long as she doesn't cross the line. We're going to invite our guests to come in behind us, and they're going to go all the way past the door and stay behind stay behind him. Okay. There you go. And so what you're saying is, if you want to go to him, you got to go through me. So don't let her pass if she tries to. All right, so now take a step backwards. I know these are roommates. No, so your side shoulder to shoulder. Oh, okay. So now if you want, let's say it's a guest and you want to embrace them or hug them. If you want to kiss, don't kiss him, but you would turn your head and you keep your hips and shoulders pointed towards the dog. Okay. Yeah. And then if you want to, now there, you turn both. So if you want to hug, you would keep your head towards the dog and just turn your torso. Okay. Like that, exactly. So that way, above or below the neck is pointing toward the, she crossed the line, rush. So she has to have zero tolerance. Yeah. So you might want to put that tape down so you know exactly where the line is. And then again, when you have friends come over, this is a great opportunity to practice your social life. Invite some friends over to drink some wine or have a couple beers and watch a tennis match or whatever's going on. And that way they can help you practice it. When you live here, once the door opens, you knew it was you. Right. It's not that particularly exciting. If it's a girl that you're dating or somebody I don't see a lot, now that's really important. Now, make sure you never step backwards while she's coming forward like that. Mm-hmm. You just kind of stand, I call that Supermaning it up. So now walk backwards. I don't want to necessarily have you at the line enforcing it. It's her job to respect the line. So now go ahead and come back in. Once the guest crosses The dog's now allowed to cross this threshold here or this threshold here, and they can't interact with the guest until the guest crosses that line there or there. Now, once the guest crosses that line, they can interact in a good way. She can't jump up, and I wouldn't let her approach if she's too excited. So excited is not happy, and most people confuse the two. And a dog can be happy and calm, it can be excited and not happy. It's an unbalanced state of mind. So we want to understand the only way you're going to meet people is in this sort of energy. And this is a non-crotch invasive, non-jumping up. You know, we're going to structure it so the only way you're going to be allowed to meet them is if you behave properly. Mm-hmm. And this is how we teach our dog to stay away from the door when we have guests arrive. Right, Violet? That's right.